All right, welcome everybody. We're getting into Absolute Martian Manhunter. This one, it's so beautiful. I love it. Written by Denise Camp and Javier Rodriguez. Camp is doing the Ultimates right now, which if you haven't read that, I love the Ultimates so far. Let me know if you want me to cover some of the new stuff on the new Ultimate Universe and some of the other Absolute stuff. Or just let me know in the comments what some stories you want me to do. But yeah, this one has got to be my favorite out of all of them so far. At least my favorite first issue, because the art, I love art. It's so good. But we'll hop into it and see why. So we meet with this person in an explosion. It looks like he's Agent John Jones. And he asks the questions, why do people do the things they do? Some people become firefighters, some become arsonists, while some become doctors and some become killers. And he's getting checked out. They're like, what, can you hear me? Like, John, you okay? He's like, why do two particular people fall in love? And then this creature thing says, hear, listen, comprehend me. So while he's talking to the doctor, he's like, yo, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to you. The doctor's like, you look fine, John Jones, just like a little concussion you got. Should take a couple weeks off of work. Hopefully you'll be fine. Just let me know if you get sick again. You're lucky to be alive in that explosion. And we see that multiple people were in that explosion, and he starts smoking. And from that smoke, we get to see the nice colors that represent everybody's thoughts. But John Jones is like, I haven't lit the cigarette. Like, where's all this smoke coming from? Cut to title card. Martian Manhunter, Absolute Martian Manhunter. So good. I love this series. I heard it was a 6 issue and then it got turned into a 12 issue. I'm so glad. I hope they keep this one running, but I love it. So his wife picks him up from the hospital and he's like, you're cleared for to go back to work. Like, how are you already good to go? And he's like, I think the doctor was distracted. His wife was having an affair. I don't know what to do about it. Poor guy still loves her. And she's like, how do you know that? Like, he just told you? Like, that's weird. And he's like, how are you able to go back to work? Like, you were in an explosion. Why do they want you to go back? And he's like, yeah, that's the job. Like, they just want me to go back. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's a hard job I do. But she's like, I need you to, like, stay with me. Like, I don't think she really says it, but, like, it kind of sounds like their marriage is falling apart. Because she's like, I need you. Our son needs you. Like, he's fine. This random lady, Carla's watching him, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. We need to, like, work on us. And she's like, you've barely been home since you joined that task force. I miss you. And he's like, yeah, I can ask if they can let me out, but they don't really hand vacations out. And then we get to see, so this green with that red dot is important. That seems to be what the Martian Manhunter, so to speak, is. Like, that is him. But this weird text, weird font that's coming up, memory of desert camping trip as a boy, lonely fire burning, thin wisp of smoke on the far out horizon. Father saying, yeah, that seems to be the Martian Manhunter in him. And then we get to cut to this lady doing her nail at the Bureau of Investigations. Also, same kind of pattern of green with that red dot looking like an eye, and then some other colors. And his boss is like, we're going to give you a vacation, like you exploded. And he's like, nah, I'd rather go to work. So he doesn't even want the vacation. He's like, I'm a workaholic, dude. I'd rather go to work. And he asks, why does one person become a cop, another person become a criminal? And their boss is like, no one expects you to keep working, dude. Like, I don't understand. Like, you can have this vacation. You exploded. And he's like, if I take time off, all my cases will be pushed back a couple weeks or a couple months. I mean, if I take a couple weeks off, like I'd rather work, because if one of these things that I'm investigating turns into an actual innocent incident, it wouldn't look good on you, dude. And he's like, are you threatening me? It's like, nope, I am not threatening you. But his boss is like, you're sure you're okay? Like, if you are, I guess so. Like, this is a small office, so if you're hell bent on working, can't stop you. But it seems Agent John is on the stochastic terrorism task force, so like a random probability task force that looks at incidents. But he says to predict dangerous behavior, identify individuals that pose a threat to the public, stop them before they actually do something that hurt themselves or others. And it looks like he was looking at Agent Newell's case, which is that guy in the red that's like, really? We're not going to, like, kick him out? We're not going to stop him? He just went an explosion. And the boss is like, yeah, well, I get it. Stick to your own cases, John. Don't go near that coffee shop that you were at. It's not your case. It's Agent Newell's case. You understand? And he's like, yep, I guess I understand. And he's like, I understood. Went right back to the coffee shop. I mean, what a guy. But he's like, yeah, I understood. He's like, my job is a little like trying to read minds. We're like those fortune tellers at carnivals, the psychics on the late night TV, and we are about as accurate. So we're not really accurate at stopping threats and figuring out which ones are the threats. We just kind of see what could be a threat. But he says the problem is you can never really know someone, not like they know themselves. And so he's like, in his head, if I don't know anybody, like how do I know Newell hates me, thinks I'm cold and weird, and calls me the Martian to his own wife? And I love this detail is that it seems that this creature thing that's inside of John, or that like John is seeing and hearing in that weird font, weird text in his mind, isn't an actual Martian. It picks up on this thing that John gets called a Martian because he's so weird and distant from everybody and he seems disassociated, is that instead of like being an actual Martian, being from outer space, we don't know what it is right now. They haven't really gone into it yet. I haven't read issue 2 so far of recording. Issue 2 just came out. I got to read it. But yeah, they don't really understand. He's not really the Martian Manhunter in an actual physical way. It's more of like just a title because he's so weirdly out of scope, kind of like an alien. And we see this with the weird creature thing that he has in him. Martian, distant, different, alien. Yes. And John looks back because he hears this thing. And he's like, I look for the warning signs. And he goes and talks to the bomber's mother. And he's like, I got a couple questions. Was Mike, the guy who blew up the coffee shop, behaving any strangely? And he's like, I don't understand how I can tell that the bomber's mother hates pickles and always gave hers to the kid. He's like, I don't know how the bomber and his lifelong best friend made love one summer, never spoke of it again, not even to each other. And we see this smoke coming from both of them, like this green smoke. And then he is looking for more signs. He talks to the bomber's neighbor, and he's like, you have anything that you know about this guy at all? And she's just acting really suspicious because she's trying to hide her near daily cannabis use. But he sees the smoke from her cigarette or weed, and it's coming off into her. And it's like, you look for the identifiable patterns. Anything to make the world not random. That's what stochastic means. Random. And we see the actual explosion, and we see the face of the Martian Manhunter creature thing in that weird shape at the top. But we see him after the explosion. This thing looks at him. Poor trapped things light themselves on fire to escape. And it's like above them, forming as like clouds. So then we cut back to current times, and he's like, I drive by my house 3 times, not recognizing it. I've lived here for almost a year. I think there's something really wrong with me. And then his wife's like, are you good? And he's like, I'm feeling good. He's like, I'm actually going crazy. And he's like, yeah, they denied my vacation. Then we see this, she's cutting the Martian looking thing. It's like memory of living music, dancing in the daffodil light, extracted canyons beyond physics and form, waves of quantum foam, gentle flapping. And then she's like, yeah, they're like, those guys suck. You want to go see your son Tyler, who they said earlier was like having speech therapy. He might be autistic. I have no idea. That might be why he's so distant also. But he sees Tyler. Tyler's like building stuff out of Play-Doh, and he builds himself. He builds the mom, and he's like, "This one's you," and it's the Martian creature like thing. And I don't know if this is because like the son made it because he knew that this creature infected him, or like it's because the dad, they keep calling the dad a Martian and he just seems like an alien and that's what the creature like took form of, or it's actually just him and that's what he sees instead. But we cut to him laying in bed. He's like, I stay awake all night trying not to think of the smoke. And he sees the smoke like above him. Also, again, that green and red eye of what's waiting for me in it. Have you tried to not to think of something? It's all you can think about. And he's like tossing and turning, gets up, starts smoking. And he tells his wife, I have to get to the office early. Tell the office I'm going to be late. I don't want anybody to worry. And then that Martian thing is like, memory of first firefight, senior agent, Setri turning to you saying, we're in this thing together, partner. It's like him sitting in a crowd of people, sitting in like public area. Everybody in different colors, smelling all the people's thoughts, seeing it as smoke instead though. But I like how this creature thing that's inside of him it's like learning. You see it like lurking around the doctor in the next panel. And it's starting to like read thoughts. That's why it also brought up his old partner. It's like adapting. But it reads the doctor's mind. After this possible erotic dissection in 3, then the knife would in 7, pelvis in 4. And he's like, why are the doctors so anxious and distracted? Doctor's like, you look good, dude. I think it's just stress. And it's whatever. And then the Martian's like, stink of sweat, exhaustion, madness is everywhere. Psychosphere critical, complete context, collapse imminent. And he's like, yeah, that's a relief, whatever. So he tells his boss that they're running more tests on him, but instead he actually goes sees the bomber's mother. And he's like, you understand? Like, do you know anything why this guy did it? And he's like, no, I don't know why you guys keep asking me. And then we see the smoke coming out of her ears going into Johns' nose. He's like inhaling her thoughts. And he's like, steam pours out her ears like an angry cartoon. I breathe it in. I breathe in and inhale Mike Miller's first day of school, all dressed up, adorable and terrified, full of potential, overwhelming feel of love and pride. Him picking up flowers for his mother's birthday, and the crushed look on his face when I told him and his father that he wouldn't be coming home. She told him. So he's reading her thoughts, reading her memories with the smoke, and I love that the smoke forms into this thoughts and stuff. I love this art. It's so beautiful. So he leaves and he's like, I gotta get out of here. Like, this is too overwhelming. I have to clear my head. Walks out. He gets more memories. It's like memory of you buying your first house. Real estate agent saying, real fixer-upper, a lot of potential. We see that the city is crawling with smoke. He's like, whichever way I walk, there's smoke. Smoke's everywhere. Memory of your dad finding cigarettes under your mattress saying, where's the smoke? There's fire. And then it's like the smoke is coming off of librarians, social workers, lawyers, accountants, couriers, construction workers. It's coming off of everybody. And we get to see a bunch of people lined together, smoke coming over to him, overwhelming him. He's like, it's the people. The people are all on fire. No one seems to be bothered by it but me. And the smoke is filled with barroom laughter, office drama, grocery lists. And then we see the smoke like forming words around him, like bacon milk, fish sticks, coffee beans. This Martian's like, thought smoke ideas oxidizing in the open air. He's like, I don't get it. And then a cool green voice saying things, breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in. And we see the form of the Martian Manhunter thing with him there, like a green with the red dot, and then it looks like this one has a mouth. And he's like, how can a voice be green? But it is a voice, and the voice is green, and it's waiting for me, always waiting for me in the smoke as he's coughing. And then he sees everything from this smoke. We see him in the bottom corner and the top corner coughing. He's surrounded by the smoke. He's like, I can feel it following me 2 strides behind. I look around for some place to rest, but Middletown is like an alien planet. Fire hydrants, the arrangement and purpose of the roads, my own reflections are all mysteries to me. And it's like the town is in a circle, like forming around the absolute Martian Manhunter in the middle with the eye. Oh, it's beautiful. Then the next panel, like everybody's in different colors. He's in the color red because he's panicking. He's like, what's happening to me? I run in what I hope is a direction, what I hope is away from this thing that's following me. I pass a police station, and it's incomprehensible. What is going on? And then we see on the bottom it says Martian Vision. Just, oh, so cool. But this thing is following in what we know is the absolute Martian Manhunter. But I love that they're like 2 different entities. They're not the same thing. But he's like, who is talking? What is that thing? We see the red eye like on his forehead. And the Martian Manhunter thing responds. It's like, you, me, we're both talking. Do you remember the man on fire, the human flame, which is the guy who exploded in the coffee shop? And it's like, do you remember the smoke? Do you remember what waited? And what waited was the Martian Manhunter. So when we saw earlier, when like all that smoke was above him, it actually was this creature above him that kind of inhaled on him. And it's like the memory of not a miracle. It was me who saved you. I saved you. And John is like, what are you? And he's like, I'm the mind, hunt, kill, save, redeem, healer. I'm multiple things. But now I'm you. Through the smoke, remember, look at me. And then, oh, this is a beautiful thing. If you're reading this on digital instead of physical, I feel bad because this is a beautiful panel. And I'm going to record it, so I'm going to put it right here. All right, so here's the comic panel. It says, like, hey, go into fellow Martian vision to see this page. So it's him. Put it into the light. Oh, it's both of them together. We're the Martian Manhunter. I got this physical. I love this. This is the cover I got. Oh, so good. But it says, like, we're the Martian Manhunter. And it's both of them together in one mind. It's 2 separate entities in one body. Oh, I love this. It's so good. I'm so happy that it got extended from 6 issues to 4 or to 12. I mean, beautiful. This is my favorite out of the Absolute series. I'll probably review some of the other Absolute stuff. I'll do some more. I'll do Green Lantern probably next week, but yeah, that's it. This is a beautiful start. I can't wait to read more. But go ahead, leave a comment. Let me know if there's any other series you want me to cover. Any short stories, one-shots, Marvel or DC, I really don't care. But I'll probably cover more of some of the Absolute stuff and some of the newer Ultimate stuff also. I have a couple ones planned. I got to finish Captain America White. Hulk Gray should be out by now. I gotta do White, and that should be it. So, thank you for listening. Peace out. All right. Welcome back to the channel, I guess. I don't know. But today we're going over Absolute Martian Manhunter. This has been my favorite Absolute series. We're going over issue 2 and 3 today. I have loved this entire run so far. I heard they're taking a break after issue 6, like a 2-month sabbatical, and then they're coming back. Well, if they need to do that to keep the art and writing this good, do whatever. You could take a year break and then release 6 more banger issues, and I'd totally be fine with that. Take as much time as you want, because I love this. I've never thought about this at all. The art is beautiful. Anyways, I'm going to stop glazing this, and we're just going to hop right in. So we start with a gentleman watching, or I guess he's not even watching, but a game show on, and some people are murdered in their chairs. Spend all your big money, big money, big money. But he goes, it's not real. I'd like to solve the puzzle. None of this is happening. And he stands there staring at his poster. Intelligent life is out there. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean you're not right. He's got a bunch of guns. He's T-posing, at an alien on the wall. But this is, the most iconic Green Martian villain, the White Martians. We cut to John Jones. He talks to himself, it's all in your head. But what happens in your head also happens as he lights a cigarette and sees the quote-unquote Martian. Remember, he's not an actual Martian. It's more of, he said this is the way that he can interpret it, is think of me as a Martian. And we did learn last issue, it's not about the fire, it's about the smoke. The smoke is the most important stuff. But John's talking to himself, keep it together, John. Fuck these Martians. The Martian mindfucker. Resistance is futile, but not how you think. And he's just screaming out loud, shut up, stop talking. And we see the Martian follow him around in the form of smoke. He's in the O in the stop sign. He's in the newspaper. But this is coming off the back of him learning about the Martian at the end of last issue. I got to get back to the hospital, figure out what's wrong with me. The Martian talks to him. Understanding comes later. Total, complete, full understanding would result in mind/self-destruction. You need to be calm. And then we see the Martian enter his memory. Memory of honeymoon with Bridget lying, exhausted, content, close in warmth of leaf-fractured light. Everything just as it's supposed to be. The world still making sense. Smell from baking famous cinnamon rolls after school. No fail remedy for bad days. Taste of serotonin, oxytocin. Chemicals humans haven't discovered yet, flooding the brain. And then John says to himself, suddenly I am calm. The panic subsides, and I'm calmly questioning the story of the little green man on page 1. Martian, we've been to Mars. We have pictures. There are no aliens there. You're not from Mars. You're from too much pressure on my brain. And then the Martian says, forgive me, us, yourself. Not Martian, not literal, symbol, / signode, outline of best fit. Martian, concept, constellation, alien, different, far away. And then John says to himself, and I, see isn't the right word. There are no words for it. New nonsense senses describing experience of. Somewhere so distant the universe will burn out before light from Earth can reach it. A place beyond places. Playground of pure, radiant thought. So John kind of gets a glimpse at where the Martian is from, but he can't understand it. It's not comprehensible. And while he's talking, he accidentally gets hit into oncoming traffic. But the Martian keeps going in a parking sign, or a parking meter. We must go, John. The parents are already dead. He will soon decide on Cetra Street. What happens in your head also happens. And we see what he's talking about. That's the person we saw in the beginning of the issue, the man who is doing the T-pose to the White Martian. But John says, what do you want? Why are you here? And we see that he's talking to a baby in the form of the Martian. We are mind, hunt, kill, save, redeem, heal, life, his world. The human race is under attack. So we see the man, I want to say he's inflicted by the White Martian, is leaving his house, getting in his car, but he is taken over by the White Martian, and this is what he means by the human race is under attack. The White Martians are doing the same thing as the Green Martian is. The Green Martian is here to help. He takes over John's mind, talks to him. The White Martians take over other people's minds and cause harm. Why they're both here, I would like to find out. We don't know yet why they both did come here. Is it the White Martians came here to destroy the Earth, and the Green Martian's like, well, I've seen them destroy a bunch, I gotta follow them. Or did they follow the Green Martian here? That's kind of the stuff that we need to think about, but that doesn't matter right now. John Jones asks the question, what are we under attack from? And the Martian responds, open your eyes. Martian vision, perspective. See people clearly for the first time. I don't have the physical copy to show in this one, just like I did the last video, but we see everybody's minds. are everybody's thoughts in the form of smoke. The yellow person came up wagging its tail, little collar bell ringing, and I looked. I made sure no one was around. I took out the knife, slid into the neck so easy, so incredibly easy. I swear to God, gave me the warmth of my hand. I never felt so good in my... I want to say I picked the worst one to read first. That was terrible. Jeez. I think I killed his dog. What are the chances I read that one first? That was awful. But going on, the Martian asks, well, what do you see? And John responds with, despair, fear, paranoia, rage, everywhere. Evidence, sociotoxic buildup of bad vibes. And we see all the billboards up there. It's like kill, hate. We see like a clan member. It's terrible. These are all things I didn't even look at in the first one. We see an AK up there, a person getting run over by a train. Bad vibes. The Martian responds, process naturally occurring in unstable/unequal societies, but recent exposure implies outside intervention. Inescapable conclusion. Complete psychoplanetary collapse is imminent. Responsible entities must be hunt, kill, save, redeem, healed. So the Martian is basically saying, my duty is to help these people. We don't know what his actual purpose is. He says that his purpose and the reason he's here is to help us. I don't know if that's true. We don't know yet. But he tells John, we must go. Program already in progress. Trigger will soon reach Cetra Street. And John's like, what is this? What are you doing? I don't understand this. Martian replies, like, you can't understand this yet. Consciousness expansion upgrade is in progress. Martian vision is only beginning. And then he goes over a memory of him being 8, staring at a hole through the fence. The world reduced to thin swath of the Donnie's yard. Sunbathing, Miss Donnelly's thighs golden in. And John stops him. What do you want from me, dude? And the Martian says, I want a partner, ally, roommate. I want a friend. Time is strange, frustrating, short. Trigger has reached Little Damascus. And John responds, I don't want that. That kid with that gun, is he... And the Martian replies, saved your life, reorganized matter and events. Now we are entangled. And then we see the man say, invaders, aliens from outer space, body snatchers wearing human faces, human skin. And John hears it. So this is the vision that the Martian is giving to John. And John goes, invaders? The Martian says, prefer entangled. We must go. Trigger opens fire in 3, 2, and then we see the man possessed by the white Martian start shooting up at the street. He's like, they're trying to replace us. And so John says, the doctors must have missed something. This isn't real. None of this is. And then he hears his phone ring. Jones, there's a possible active shooter event on Cetra and Samakison. Local PDs en route, requesting assistance. The GPS puts you nearby. And then this is where we learn another lesson from the Martian. What happens in your head also happens. We learned about this last time. He's giving John some lessons. So we've learned what happens in your head also happens. It's not about the fire, it's about the smoke, and just pay attention. John hops in his car. The Martian's like, let's ride, partner. Spooky action heroes at a distance. Their car goes flying. The streets are a blurred synesthesia. Buildings bitter on my tongue. I'm 8 minutes out from Cetra. But the little green man in my head, sitting in the passenger seat, feet up on the dash, doesn't understand distance yet. Doesn't differentiate between here and there, one place and another. And we see the shooter is saying, they seem to look like and think like us, but they're just pretending, walking around, hoping we won't notice. But I notice, as he guns down multiple people. The shooter goes on, most of the time, they get the color wrong, and when they try to speak our language, it comes out all funny. It's pretty obvious once you know what you're looking for. In my experience, 99% of the people are just pretending. Welcome to Earth, as he just finishes this, I can't say homeless man, finishes this man in the street. So, John Jones and the Martian pull up. The Martian jumps into this guy's head, and he's like, I'm going in. The Martian dives in, and I don't know what else to do but follow. So he aims the gun at John, and John says, 5 victims down, 6 more people are hiding. Of the 5 on the ground, 3 are already dead. Their last thoughts, why me? A memory of her son playing as a child, his childhood summers and grandfather's village, cling to them in thin wisps. 2 are still with us, but not for long. Their lives are quickly running out of them. Trigger Taylor. The dude is like, "Do I know you?" And John says, "No, but I know who he is." The Martian is swimming through his mind, investigating. "I know he loves bananas and deer hunting with his dad every season since he was 7. I know the name of his first grade best friend, cutting hands, making themselves brothers one summer." And he says, "You know what my name is? I'm Toomis. It's me, Clyde. I'm Toomis. I'm Clyde Doomis." And Trigger's like, "How long's it been? I don't recognize you at all." And John keeps going. "His madness is a man-shaped wildfire, and in the smoke of it, I smell strains of trans-3-methyl-2 hexagononic acid and a family history of schizophrenia." That's a big word for Elmo. An old man dies in a puff of the cardamom. In a puddle of pain and fear, he thinks of one last thing as he was taught. So we're starting to see the powers of this Martian. He's able to go and read through all the thoughts, and we see important memories as colors, as Play-Doh, I guess. But Trigger asks, "Is that really you, Toomis? Or are you just pretending with me?" And John responds, "Of course it's me. Put the gun down and we can catch up." Cetra is mostly Syrian, locally called Little Damascus. Most of these people here are refugees. My ears ring with the traumatic echoes. Trigger goes, "Some of them are so good at pretending they don't even know what they're doing. They've convinced themselves they're human beings." And then John keeps reading everybody's thoughts. The teenager hiding behind the Honda is thinking about an old cartoon and how he'll never get to fulfill his dream of playing football for Manchester United. The woman hiding behind the counter of Palmyra restaurant lost every member of her family in the Civil War, 49 in total. All she can think of in a panic is that if she dies here, her family dies with her. And then we see the Martian find a key memory. He goes, "Aha." And then the police are starting to show up. They pull their guns. "Put the gun down. Put the gun down, Trigger." And John's like, "Hold up. I'm talking to him. It's okay." Inside Trigger's mind, the Martian found something. Level 18th delusion, hallucination, brain rotter. Invasion coded, classic us versus them architecture. Very delicate destruction, construction. It's wired together from old movies, old fears, and the culture going back. Bad idea number 2894. The everywhere, everyone, everything enemy. Simple to disable, uncreate, disarm. And then we see Trigger's like, what happened? Oh my God, what? Did I do all this? So the white Martians kind of took easy prey and rewired his brain a little bit, put down all these movies and media and stuff, and were like, "You are schizophrenic, so we're gonna make you think that everybody is evil." Basically the equivalent of what Khonshu does to Moon Knight. But yeah, the white Martians kind of just look at easy prey, rewire their brains a little bit, and then send them out to create chaos. How much of that is true? I don't know. That's kind of just my theory. But Trigger understands that he needs help. He's like, I didn't know this is what I was doing. And before anything can happen, one of the police officers shoots, and it goes through Trigger's head. And Trigger dies and collapses. And then we see what the Martian sees, that these white Martians came and invaded his mind. Danger, disaster, doom. Worst possible finding. Worse than feared. The white Martian has come to end humankind. So Jones gets home, lays down next to his wife. His wife's like, "How was work?" He responds, "It was good. It's the usual." And he sits there restless, not knowing what to do. And so does the Martian, because the white Martians are here. So that ends issue 2. Let's hop into issue 3 real quick. Issue 3 starts with a homeless man laying down on the side of the street and somebody lighting a cigarette, throwing that cigarette on top of them, burning them alive. The smoke comes up. I want to go home. Even though he'd lived on the street since he was 14, Big Al's last thought was, I want to go home. He hadn't had a home to go to in 20 years, but it's all he could think through the heat and the pain. I want to go home. But we learn 24 people died. How many perps? Also 24. So 24 different people lit up 24 other people. Apparently they did it all at the same time. John is also able to read his partner's thoughts, and we see the smoke from, I guess, these victims come up through the air. But John notices gray clouds gather at the edges. You can always make out the shapes of people if you squint. The neighborhood comes up to see what goes on. The Martian says, "Radiant is restrained grief, smudged, spectacular expressions of life. Eventually, everything goes up in a," and then he lights his flame. Everything goes up in a flame. Everything goes up in a smoke. John's partner goes on, "It is weird, I'll give you that. I mean, 24 people setting 24 separate sleeping bums on fire at exactly the same time. I figured it was some kind of cult or something, but they claim they don't know each other, and there's nothing saying different." So John asks why, and the Martian responds, "That is the wrong question to ask." But his partner says, "That's easy. People are mostly crazy and do fucked up things to each other for no reason at all." And John says, "Is that your professional opinion?" "Why, yes it is." "Then you should think about changing your profession." And John, having his insight, "I really mean it. This job is leaching into him like asbestos, making soft things hard. If he keeps going this way, 6 years from now, his kids will find him beating his wife to death with a golf club in the garage." I know I sound crazy. I know that. But the Martian who lives in my head assures me that I'm not. And for some reason, I believe him. The Martian responds with residue of bad idea number 1937-231. Combustion, compulsion, arson, instinct. The emancipation of the immolated. So his partner asks the question, why do these people come here? Like, they're not safe here. If they go to the Sunnyside Hotel, they'll be safe there. And John responds, Big Al didn't like shelters. People were always fucking with him there, making dark imitations, stealing his shoes while he slept. He liked his chances better on the street. And his partner picks up on it. Big Al? Like, how do you know? How do you know it's Big Al? And what I think is going on is that he is giving too many clues that he knows more than he lets on, that he's got this little Martian. So eventually either his partner's going to figure it out or they're going to be like, yo, something's up with you, John. And they'll either boot him or arrest him or something because he's getting too suspicious with how much he knows and how much he lets on. But we cut to John interrogating everybody that seemingly has killed these people. So these 24 victims, they all have the same thing that he notices is a gray cloud around them. So John goes on, 24 individuals who claim not to know each other, but who are in perfect unison, burned 15 men, 6 women, 3 children alive. They don't have criminal records. They all had reasons. Some of them felt remorse. Others didn't. But they had one thing in common, the cloud around their heads, which I didn't mention in my report. And we see them explaining why they did these things. And one lady's like, I've never done anything like this before. It's just a sudden urge. Another lady's like, I had a flash that this homeless guy was my dad who used to come into my room and do whatever. And we see the Martian is entering their minds, reading them. Must move quickly, extinguish every ember, every spark, pre-existing conditions, tragedy, isolation, trauma, like kindling victims. So we see these people getting infected by the White Martian, and we understand that whoever gets infected by the White Martian has this white smoke around them, or has at least like a lingering effect from the White Martian. And they pick people that are not psychologically well. But John leaves work, driving home. You know that little voice in the back of your head constantly telling you that the world is going to end? Mine's not just a voice. And I love that he drives the car and that, of course, the Martian just sits in the passenger seat because he's not a physical being. It's more of like a mental being, but he still just shows up. He just does human things. It's so funny. But we see this Martian growing. John says that it's still getting the hang of the language and it's worried it's not getting the point across. And we see the Martian trying to say something. Gaudy, gorgeous funeral march. Civilization's closing ceremonies beautiful to behold. Gawkward, confiscient, imprecise. These things mean sounds, and sounds mean things. Round and round. And John's like, I have no idea what you're saying. But the walk from the driveway to the front door of my house becomes an incomprehensible alien apocalypse. And we see this blob of like different creatures at the front door. And it's obviously not there, but it's what the Martian is trying to tell John. And it's one of those things where he can't specifically tell John what these Martians are here for, what's going on with him, because it's just he's communicating in a different language, essentially. They don't understand. They make a really good analogy here. John asks, why does the white Martian want to destroy anything? What did we as the humans do to it? It says it comes from somewhere so far away that it doesn't make sense to speak in terms of distance. And the Martian responds, the white Martian has decided on tragedy. I can make it no clearer. I can't. Explain the criminal justice system to a sunflower seed. Make a paramecium understand property. Lay out prisons to a pebble. Understand? You can't. And it goes on, the white Martian is a cosmic predator creator, ironist destroyer, 100,000 life worlds lost, white's great purpose, deliver delight. You should talk to Bridget, spend time with Tyler, breathe deep your life, John Jones, while you can. The white Martian decided on tragedy. So John sits at the couch with his wife. Of course, the Martian is in the middle, laying down, just soaking up, chillaxing. And he reads his wife's mind. And big important thing is that we've seen in the first issue and the second issue, they don't really talk. They don't really communicate. Their marriage is falling apart, essentially. And what she says is, our old friends don't talk to us. I feel like I barely know John. He took this transfer without asking, moved us here without asking. He doesn't talk to me. If I leave, can I stay with my mother? What kind of relationship will our son Tyler have with his father? Does he even care? We don't know anything about John Jones' past, essentially, mostly that he is a workaholic, but he doesn't like talking. But he opens the window to let some air out, and he tries talking to his wife, but he decides that he can't. So he says, I'm going to go check on Tyler. And he sees Tyler, and of course the Martian is there messing with some Play-Doh. And then John's phone goes off, and the Martian says, hey, you should actually take that. That's very important. So he takes it, runs outside, and then he looks up and sees all of the gray smoke. And it's in the shape of what the white Martian looked like at the end of issue 2 a second ago. Police sirens, fires everywhere. The Martian says, bad idea number 1937-231, the emancipation of the immolated. What we saw earlier with Big Al. So continue on to the next day. John talks about, they call Middleton the city of second chances, and it can be, but he sees the destruction of the town, the fire, this little truck stand is handing out free sandwiches to everybody, and one of the ladies comes up and talks to John. John says, the woman in the stained nightgown is still in shock. Hard to imagine all she's lost. And we see her kids are actually in the flames. Even now, the love she feels for her children hits like a blast furnace. You could incinerate diamonds with it. Strangers were burning down strangers' homes. People were burning down their own homes. A gang of kids burned their beloved playground down. And we see that all of them have that white smoke around them. So John asks the Martian, how do you stop this? It's just random people setting random fires. And the Martian responds, there is no such thing as random, only misunderstood. Open your, my eye, John. See that inside is outside, is all the sides. See the implicate order of everything. Martian vision, the absolute perspective. Now, what do you see? I don't have the physical copy, so unfortunate. I'll do better. The production team doesn't give me very good leeway. They didn't give me any money for this. But John says, I see home. Not just mine, all of them. Every home that ever was or will be anywhere on this planet. That's what it wants. It wants to burn down everything. It's trying to burn down every home. Not any specific home or even all the homes, but the idea of home. The place you go inside yourselves. It wants to get rid of our idea of safety. What is safety? The Martian says, shelter. The Sunnyside Hotel. Middleton's largest homeless shelter. This is where Big Al didn't want to go because all the homeless people kept messing with him. This is where the next attack is. So John calls Milton PD. Hey, this is John Jones. Next target is at Sunnyside Hotel. Like, we got to get down there. And we see a group of multiple people infected by the white Martians show up. Pitchforks, Molotovs. They're gonna burn this place down with all the homeless people in there. But John goes on, they call this place the Sunnyside Hotel so that when their families have to leave their homes, they can tell the kids that they're going to the hotel because it's like a vacation resort instead of a desperate last place to go. Most of them are hiding from something. Poverty, persecution, abuse, addiction. responsibilities, disaster, despair. They've all got reasons and they're all different, but they're all basically desperate for the same thing. And we see them all being chased by something. Person's being chased by their dad, person's being chased by drug addiction, another person's being chased by who they left, their family, and then another person's being bullied by their parents about why they can't be normal. And what's cool about this is that they are in the colors of like what the Martian Manhunter puts out. These white Martians, I guess, are infecting them, but they jump through the window. So John Jones jumps through the window. The Martian goes through the window and grabs those things and destroys them. So only the Martian can touch these psychedelic looking things that are infecting everybody's mind. John Jones can see them, but he can't really do anything. At this point, we don't know that actually for sure. That's what I'm theorizing. Racing through mullioned light, we were just a minute or two away on foot. The Martian knows more paths direct than A to B, shortcuts through non-Euclidean space. So we see that he has the powers to teleport, and he puts his hand on the back of this lady, teleports outside. So John gets some kind of physical powers as well, which is very interesting that he has been given powers, because I assume that they're going to join all these people together for absolute like Justice League if they do that. They said that they won't do that for like another year, but this Justice League team will fucking dominate. But John says, we go through the Sunnyside room by room. The Martian is doing something to the oxygen atoms around my skin so the heat doesn't touch me. But the fire is more than fire. The smoke is more than smoke. There are things inside them that are refused to be extinguished. And we see it's just their traumas. All these people that are having alcohol abuse, people abuse. As the Martian wrestles with a tangle of anger and alcohol vapors, I suddenly smell burning flesh and icy calm. And this lady walks up covered in fire. I don't know who this is. My guess is, I don't think it's fire, like fire and ice fire. It could be Scorch. I don't think it's Scorch either. I don't know who it is, honestly, but I think it's a very important note that she is made of fire, which is Martian Manhunter's like normal weakness is fire. And they're in this building and nobody's talked about it. Nobody cares that he's in front of one of his main weaknesses in the main DC universe. But anyway, she goes on, I have a message for the green one. It knows you're here hiding. In meat, it knows you're looking. It welcomes you to watch. It loves an audience. And we understand that she's talking about the white Martians. She's kind of like a messenger for them. We see that his partner's like, Jones, where are you at? And we see a Burning Man flying through, crashes through the window. But she continues on. Most people don't get it. They think it's about the fire. It's not. It's about the smoke. And John goes outside and he's holding up the lady. You get it, don't you? Yeah, I can tell you get it. It's all in the smoke, John Jones. And that's the end of issue 3. Thank you for listening, watching, however you enjoy this media. This was a longer video, but I hope you enjoy. Subscribe, comment, like. I love reading all of them. If you have any good ones, bad ones, I don't care. I love reading them all. I'll take everything. Thank you for watching, listening, whatever. Peace out. All right, welcome back. Welcome to Absolute Martian Manhunter, issue 4. It's been a while since we covered the last of Martian Manhunter. But last time we actually went over this. We learned about the White Martians, kind of, and what they are here for. And it's to cause chaos and eliminate the Green Martian. So with that, let's hop in. We start on a bright, sunny, hot day. And on a hot day, as they usually are, tempers are rising. People are upset. When you're hot, you're uncomfortable, you get upset easier, blah, blah, blah. And then John talks to his wife, who he has not really been talking to very much, but it's written all over her face. John, we need to talk. He interjects, we can't. There's some kind of riot downtown. From the looks of things, it's a big one. Violent shift in spectrum, manic Martian bleach light. To that she says, I didn't hear you make a call. Quit making excuses. Well, I'm not. I'm serious. People were hurt and nobody knows what caused it. They need me, Bridge. And she's upset. I need you. We need you. Why is that hard for you to understand? And the White Martian seems to be getting to her, as she is getting more and more pissed off at John. But he leaves and goes to the crime scene, where there is blood, teeth, 21 broken bones, 9 concussions, and a woman who will never walk again, not to mention a few $100,000 worth of property damage. All that over spilled coffee. High in the sky, the sun is the color of traffic jams, child abuse, and hypocrisy. The Martian looks concerned, or maybe resigned. Bad idea number 8429, white heat of war. One of the police officers respond, "It's the heat, 103 in the shade for 10 straight days. Our brains are boiling in their own juices. Everyone's walking around half cooked. Advanced, powerful, ingenuous, will take time, effort, energy to repair." So the Martian works on cooling things down. It's better to try to cool things down, metaphorically speaking. Metaphor equals reality. By the way, what happened to Mayweather? That's the man we saw last issue, his partner. Well, he quit 3 weeks ago, and I don't really blame him. This shit gets in your head. So his partner quit, and the Martians are taking advantage of the sun and everyone's negative emotions to feed off the city. Most in Middletown are either an immigrant or the child of one. Over 130 languages are frequently fluent here. Visions like fields of wildflowers, endless blooming points of view. There are communities from places most Americans have never even heard of. People without countries to go back to. But a second chance takes work. I never saw before now. Never understood how much work. Second chances mean living with centuries-old cultural enemies. Second chances mean finding a way to hold on to your language, traditions, and values while adapting to others. For the most part, they make it work, which I can see why now is kind of a miracle, and also the most natural thing to do. Mundane and miraculous as breath, just for the most part. Our Happy Heart lane, people are literally steaming mad. The steam screams in a high-pitched outrage. It whistles, curses, and promises violence and degradation. Literal equals metaphor. So that's our theme today. Literal equals metaphor. It signals series intent. The Martian is still going to work on the sun, trying to infect and help everybody in the bone-white light, which no one else seems to notice. Prejudiced people worked hard to put away suddenly flare back to vivid life. John sleeps next to his wife again, but not touching. He gets up in the middle of the night. On day 12 of the heat wave, the thin strip of grass between 961 and 963 Coolidge Road starts a war zone. Matt Galvers and Galvin Hill have been neighbors for 20 years. They watched each other's kids grow up, shared a love of craft beers and cars they could never afford. But a long-standing argument over the property line had suddenly exploded into all-out war. So these men, who have been friends for years, start a little war, essentially, just by this heat. So everybody's going way too far, because this is nuts. Each side patrols the makeshift wall 24 hours a day in 8-hour shifts. Even the kids aren't spared. The Martian had no luck with the sun, so he tried to treat the symptoms. It's temporary relief at best. We remind Matt Galvers about the time the Hills watched the little guys and mowed their lawn, got a meal train going, while Matt sat up all day and night with Selma during her cancer treatments, and resultant unpleasant side effects. And we remind the Hills of the good old time the Galvers saved their precious little Mikey from getting hit full on out by an out-of-control semi. How scared and grateful they've been. So John saves them, goes back to his wife, and then immediately leaves again. So this issue is mostly about John and his wife growing more and more separate as John keeps going back to work. He leaves a little note, "I will be back late." On day 13, there are 13 separate unprovoked police shootings at routine traffic stops all in one day. The police are red-faced and unrepentant, a million justifications beating on the windows in their own interrogation rooms. The families of the victims are visibly swirling with outrage, revenge fantasies, and carefully planned retaliations. And we see Bridget alone with their son. Then again, she sees John leave another time. Things get violent quickly in the alley. There's a disagreement as to whether a member of the Lucky Strike's toe went over the line. That one's crazy. Big bowling alley goes full riot. He comes home. He sleeps alone on the couch this time. Bridge finds the couch empty again as he goes back to work. John just keeps going back to work. A holy war breaks out between the Church of the Lord Redeemer Jesus Christ and the Church of the Redeemer, Lord Jesus Christ. That one goes to show they believe in the same things, but yet still they argue. They only had split the year before over baptism. One believed a sprinkle was enough, the other called it full submission. Even some of the church members can't remember which is which. And while staring at the sun, one of the little boys comes up to John. Hey, you shouldn't do that. You'll hurt your eyes. And then we see John trying to sneak away again in the middle of the night to go back to work, and Bridge finds him. Enough, John. You can't avoid me forever. Bridge, you're imagining things. I'm not avoiding you. We're supposed to be partners, John. But we are. Oh, we are? So where have you been? And then we see her white smoke, his green smoke wrap around it. And so Bridge says, you've never been one to show your emotions. I never needed you to be. All I had to do was look into your eyes, and it was like I could read your thoughts, your feelings. Like they were written in a language only I could read. So the Martian gives him Martian vision again, and Bridget is fully colorful, rainbow. That's why, before now, I never doubted our marriage, doubted how you feel about me and Tyler. And he drops his cigarette, and this has to be one of the most beautiful panels ever. He says, you doubt how I feel about you? He gets down and hugs his wife, and she says, when I look into your eyes, now, John, it's written in another language I can't even read. I don't know who you are anymore, John. And he says, I'm the same man I've always been. But he says that as a Martian, because he is a new person. He's not the same as he's always been. And she says, really? You move us here without any explanation or consultation? And he says, I explained to you, it's the Bureau. The Martian is fixing the sun at this point. And she says, even without any discussion or notice, one day we just picked up and left. We lived in D.C. for 6 years, John. All our friends were there, and now none of them will even return my calls or texts. I must have called Sam and Evelyn a dozen. No one will explain to me why, and you won't explain why. And he says, I don't know. So she slaps him. One's red, one's blue. I love the art. So one is red, one is blue, and we see a little color wheel. While Bridge and I fight, the Martian fiddles with the sun like a combination lock. It's distracting, but it seems like he's almost got it. And then he does. It clicks. He makes the color yellow. I always knew there were some things you couldn't tell me because of your job. I accepted that because I knew you'd tell me anything important, anything that would affect us. I thought I knew that. The Martian, meanwhile, puts the yellow sun back instead of the white, hot, beaming sun. And we see people start to calm down. She's still not calm. Oh, I'm imagining things? This is for my own good? No, that's not what I said. And then we see 3 different people go to power plants. One's a nuclear plant, one's a coal plant, one's a gas plant. The Martian is happy. He's up on the roof. He says, haha, looks at Mars, little tiny speck far away. And she says, I can't take this anymore, all these secrets, all these lies. I think you should stay somewhere else for a while. And meanwhile, while that happens, the 3 people blow up their buildings. And John can sense it. And she says, I don't feel comfortable with a stranger in my house. And then the power goes out. The Martian says, it's a misunderstanding, a mistake, stupid. Light was distraction, shiny distraction. Darkness was the white Martian's true intent. So that's issue 4. Basically, the white Martians were getting the attention of the green Martian to fix the sun, work on this, while they did their real plan, was to cause darkness. After they got everybody into negative emotions, all pissed off, now they strike in the dark. So thank you for watching, listening, and enjoying. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. Absolute Martian Manhunter. Oh, it's so good. I love this run. Peace out. All right. Welcome back to Absolute Martian Manhunter. This is issue 5. We are in the darkness now. So last issue, the Martians made the sun super hot and super white. And with that, everybody was all mad. The Martian fixed it, fixed the sun, and then it all went to darkness. So let's pick up from that. Make sure to leave a comment, subscribe if you're enjoying. Please leave down any recommendations. We're doing blue and gold currently. I'm trying to catch up on all the Absolute stuff because it's been so good. I'm a big DC fan more than Marvel. So The Absolute run has been amazing. I need to read Superman. Not Absolute Superman, just regular Superman. Apparently there's some crazy stuff going on. But yeah, let's hop in. We start with some lady. It looks like they're making drugs and putting it in Chocos. And if you don't know what Chocos are, those are the Martians' favorite. Regular Martian Manhunter's favorite, like cookies. They're basically like Oreos. I like how they incorporated that into this because it's so random. I love Justice League International. That's a good little run. So I recommend reading that where they do get over into Chacos, where my boys Booster Gold and Blue Beetle steal Martian Manhunter's Oreos, and then he goes berserk. Everyone has a dark side. We all have a dark side as a man goes to a dog and pulls out a switchblade. Beneath conscious thought, where the man did murder the dog. I knew I shouldn't have let her out, but I did it anyway. I don't know why. I had her since I was 7. She was a good dog, a very good dog. When are they going to catch this dog-killing psycho? And John says to himself, a charcoal sketch of our preservations urges secrets pain. Our shadow selves, the ones we stuff down and step on and ignore. I guess they've had enough. Because the shadows are rising up. We see the shadows are revealing people's actual true selves, who they really are. That's why the blood splatter is actually the shadow of a dog. She is holding her dog as her shadow, playing with it. The coordinated attack on Middletown power stations has left the city in total darkness. Great cosmic darkness. It's hard to say how long it's been. The sun is yet to rise, but I feel certain that weeks have passed. Old darkness, darkness before time, before creation. So let's get into this. He's driving down through downtown, and we see on the top right, in that little light, Omega. In the yellow light on the right. Just a reminder to everybody, Darkseid made this universe. This is the absolute universe in the eyes of Darkseid. So of course evil is going to prevail over good. And while driving downtown, he sees what looks like 2 men carrying something, but really it's just one dude stealing. It's one of those nights that seem to go on forever. Soon will spread. Everybody knows instinctively that morning will never come. The final night. Most people hide in the safety of their lightless living rooms. They look out from beyond blinds and jump at shadows. Who can blame them? No one. No one can. John says, I can't see shit out here. It's all just darker and darker shadows. Great darkness is spiritual darkness. Obscures, occludes, diminishes Martian vision. We're driving blind here, partner. Have to trust our other senses. The street are far from empty, despite the hour. Lootings are common in blackouts, but these are different. 2-person teams of teens and their 2-dimensional doubles carrying TVs, hairdryer stereos, and other useless electronic equipment through smashed shop windows. The shadows are a negative influence. And we see what they mean is that this guy's taking a TV and his shadow bolts the other way, carrying video games. So what we're seeing is the White Martians encouraging negative behavior by giving you more help. Wild teens abandoning everything, establish new or rediscovered old ecstatic religions. Perfumed with patchouli and night-blooming jasmine, they dance in front of old great fires and hold up their useless loot. Each shadow cast becomes a brief object of worship. They give these new gods new names, new stories, pray and sing improvised hymns, spill blood in their divine new names. Till they get bored, throw it all in the fire. Object, shadow, god, and name. Start again. Others worship light. They pursue it violently. Why? What are they after exactly? Do they want to save it or be saved by it? Do they want to destroy it or be destroyed? So these people have no idea what they're doing, what to do, as we see the cops fly by. Despite the blackout, Bridget refuses to see me. She was never especially scared of the dark, but she should be. We can't see people clearly in this kind of gloom. To be sure of anything, we have to get up close. I know Bridget can take care of herself. That's one of the amazing things she could always take care of herself. But I wait by the car while the Martian makes sure anyway. So he does care about his wife. We saw last issue where Martian gave him Martian vision to see his wife more clearly again, as she was full of all these emotions. So he is growing connected with his wife again, but he had to make sure that she was safe by sending the Martian. She's fully capable, And meanwhile, that's all happening. The White Martian is specifically focusing on this one lady who we saw before. Certain grocery stores and restaurants promising open all night find themselves in over their heads. The night shift really grinds you down. So this one lady is breaking down bottles, rolling it out, and putting it into the food. Long nights like this can be a killer. But John busts in. Don't take a single bite, put down the hamburgers, no one gets hurt. I caught a whiff of the secret ingredient as I walked by. So she is spilling out the fumes that Martian Manhunter can find. She starts running. Razor sharp stars of rage tear up inside of my nose, but even still I'm tempted. The burgers smell delicious, but they have glass in them. He starts giving a chase, and in the shadows we see the Martian chasing the White Martian. Then we cut to the park. I walk through the park looking for trouble, but mostly find love in fireflies. Kids play tag with their own shadows. I guess they're on better terms than we are with ours. Maybe our shadow was just another old friend we lose touch with. I realize that. Even in the moonlight, I can't tell which is the shadow and which is the real thing. So the shadows aren't necessarily bad. It's mostly, it's just your ulterior motives. So this hippie is kissing the tree. So his shadow kisses back. The kids are too innocent to really have anything bad. So they're just playing with their shadows. And John says, damn, I have a craving for chocos now. And his son does too. Tyler grabs one. His mom says, nope, you got to put back. Those are bad for you. Isn't it incredible how good they are at advertising now? Like they're almost in your head. And then we see at a different place, they've really got it down to a science. This man is who we saw in the beginning, putting all the stuff in the chocos. He goes up to the new store. John can smell it on him, his negative thoughts, and then gives a chase. We all have a dark side. John punches this guy down. The Martian fights the White Martian, but we don't have to get into it. And then Tyler picks up some of these chocos on the floor and puts it into his pocket. So that's very important right now. John goes to a house. We see that this family kills everybody and then himself. I'm sorry, that's pretty tough. We all have a choice, don't we? Very sad, sweet, intensive story, partner. But we're too late for any of them. And then the ambulance comes. Wee woo, wee woo. Hey, they got here fast. That's kind of weird. They crash and hit John, smash him into a brick wall. And then John says, I'm swimming through a sea of darkness, or at least the Martian is. Dingy basement of reality, cold, old, endless. It's getting hard to tell the difference between me and the Martian. All I can think about is my family. I have to get back to my... And then the people get out. Oh, you can't get back to your family. We'll fix you right up. So they have all the tools, instruments from this ambulance. And then the Martian's still surfing through the sea of darkness. Before light, pre-creation, it was the White Martian trapped me, us, trapped us all. And then another person is coming to go see Bridget at home. Blood running down, so wet. Lime, gotta go back home. This is the man who killed the dog at the beginning. So this is the scenario, is that the Martian is gone for a minute. He's trapped somewhere. A man is coming to go break into Bridget's house and kill her. And then these other people have John hit with an ambulance and want to amputate him. The Martian says after end post-existence will be, the Martian keeps swimming, searching for its center. I think it's trying to understand. The people from the ambulance say, you're a mess, man. There's so much stuff in those buckets. What's it all for? Are you a doctor? How the hell should I know? Obscene dreamer. Creation's burning tiger force. Cosmic secret origin. So Martian is seeing the creation of everything right now. The nature of the darkness. As Bridget gets a knock on the door, the people who stole the ambulance say, who we are in the dark when no one's watching, that's who we really are. That's the real us. And they start the hand buzzsaw, as the Martian pulls up to absolute dark side. Well, it's just dark side. It's not absolute, but it's dark side. Bad idea number 0. As he has all of creation in his hands. This world is in Darkseid's creation. This goes hard. I mean, that's crazy. That's terrifying. It's the beginning end of everything. So that's where we finish, is that everything has come. We have 3 major things that have to come to an end next issue. Thank you for watching, listening, enjoying. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe as we finish out Absolute Martian Manhunter. Peace out. All right, welcome back. Absolute Martian Manhunter, issue 6. This is the finale of this current story arc. I believe they're going to keep doing another 6 issues, but it was originally supposed to be 6, and then they bumped it up to 12 because it sold so well, which is amazing because it's really good. I love this. Denise Camp has been doing amazing with everything. He's doing Ultimate Endgame in December, a couple months from now. So yeah, I recommend picking this up. I need to go buy more of them. I only have Absolute issue 6 in physical. I mean, issue 1 in physical, I'm sorry. So yeah, make sure to comment, like, subscribe if you like these. So just to recap what happened, essentially, a great darkness fell on Middleton, and John was hit by an ambulance, and those people infected by the White Martians. The Martian Manhunter saw Absolute Darkseid, or just Darkseid, I mean. And then Bridget was getting attacked by the man we saw in the previous issue in the beginning who killed the dog. So with that, let's hop in. Why do people do the things they do? Traumatic qualities of pain, damage, despair. We are coming apart. Overexposure to fundamental reality results in anti-life spiral. John is saying Darkseid is, while basically about to be killed by the people who stole the ambulance. But you need to focus, John Jones. See Bridget and Tyler, see them alone, see them helping you, needing you. Pull yourself, us, together. Focus, concentrate, remember what matters. Nothing matters. So here we have mention of the anti-life equation, anti-life spiral, and Martian Manhunter's colors are that of Darkseid, black and red, which is pretty intimidating. John, focus, concentrate, remember what is real. John gets up, remembers Bridget. We see that somebody breaks into Bridget's house now. She's got the shotgun loaded. My buddy Bob taught me how. He's from Mars or somewhere. He knows all these kinds of crazy things. Talking about the White Martian. Like, turns out everything mostly is just empty space. Did you know that? I didn't know that. The walls, the floors, the dogs, the doors. Meaningless accumulations of nothing. Us too. We're all just meaningless accumulations of nothing. I'll tell them to put that on your tombstone. And she shoots him. Bam. His head's clean off. And then it's replaced by white. Nothing. Mostly nothing. The White Martian is allowing him to stay alive. Open my eye. I gotta save my family. But the man keeps going that sees Bridget. If we accept that, if we accept deep down that we can go anywhere, we can do anything, I'm mostly stoked to dogs now. But Bob made a pretty convincing argument. A bitch is a bitch is a bitch. So basically he's going from killing dogs to killing women. Bridget keeps shooting at him. Now don't worry, when we're through, you won't feel a thing. The ambulance people are about to cut John up. The Martian says, let us in, out, through, John. Good idea. Number 325. You need help. We're in this together, partner. John has the Martian come out of his eye, saves him, attacks one of the other people that have the White Martian head. The Martian just looks at the one with the saw, and all the electrical activity in his brain immediately stops. Good old Bob, the man with a hole for the head, best friend I ever had. He let me in on a big secret. See, it was always going to happen this way. We don't have any say in the matter. Not you, not me, not even Bob. Your husband can't help you. The green guy can't help you. So basically this Bob is informing these people that, hey, there is a green Martian. You guys, I'm giving you these prophecies. You listen to me, and you should be fine. He's focusing on psychopaths, clearly. But this man, still chasing Bridget down. The sun will never rise. No one's coming. No one sees, not even God. Isn't that freeing? We alone in all of human history will not be judged. Though somehow, I get the feeling that if he did see, he'd approve. And in the previous panel, the Martian climbs through the other dude's head, and it comes out of this portal. So John flies out. We got to get to the quarters office. The office is fortified. But how did you do that? How can you touch me? John tackles the white Martian. They start to get into a fist fight, and we see that the face goes from a sphere to a regular white Martian looking face. You got backup. The green Martian is here. Well, guess what? I got backup too. So outside the window, Bridget looks, and there's a giant mob of the white Martian humans with white Martian heads all taken over. What's your shortcut, green Martian? Disoriented by darkness, high-dimensional escape is dangerous, impassable, impossible. We're night blind. Who are you talking to, John? We have to protect them. Get to Tyler's room, lock the door. Bridget says, we're a team, we can do this together. No, you have to just go. And we see somewhere high up, spiritually high, all burning symbols and meanings. I can feel two Martians fighting over Middleton. For them, things are made of pure mind and can get a little abstract. A punch is not just a punch up there. It's a metaphor, although that particular metaphor looked like it hurt. So we see the white Martian versus the green Martian above Middleton. The white Martian punches the green Martian in the face, and then we see down here, everything is more literal. Literal. A punch is just a punch, as John punches the other white Martian infected dude down here. Violence is just violence. Now we have two fights going on. We have John versus the white Martian infected, and we have the white Martian versus the green Martian. These fights are really cool. As a man in the clown jacket tries to spill my brain onto the hardwood, the white Martian reaches out across town into the head of a sleeping boy with terminal brain cancer in apartment 3B. The boy's dreams, the tumor is as big as the city. It pulses and throbs and seems to smile with a crooked, unnatural teeth. Its tendrils reach out, destroying everything they touch. In response, the green Martian pulls out a revolutionary brain cancer cure that the young girl in 4D of that very same building will help develop 20 years from now. So while one is fighting with literal punches, the other one is fighting with figurative metaphors and illustrations. Next, the white Martian plucks out fear of the atomic bomb from an aging hippie, 1,000 unturned faces as death traces a screaming rainbow across the sky. The green Martian scrambles to make one small change, tapping into that same hippie's belief in military incompetence. The bomb is a dud. So while that's happening, John is shooting the riot that is entering his house now, as he gets his hand whacked and Bridget has the shotgun. The war of green and white unfolds the sky into alien geometries and nonsense emotions, with incomprehensible thesis/antithesis weapons. Living philosophies debate the life and death of worlds. Reality's crumbling infrastructure is collateral damage. Every mind in Milton becomes a battleground as they fight in between the head of this guy popping out through the eyes. We see the green Martian seems to be on the bottom while the white Martian is on the top, both fighting in different figures. The art in this is so amazing. It's so beautiful. But me, I stay right here and let nothing by. As we zoom into Tyler, things stop making sense a while ago. As he's fighting with the green Martian and the white Martian in Play-Doh form, white flag of victory waving species wide, tragedy ending imminent. And the Chacos are next by him. He hasn't opened them and eaten them yet. And then we see expand, evolve, enhance your view, save all to see all. Martian vision is on. But I see our silhouettes tearing themselves apart in the dark. Despite the darkness, I can see the white Martian is connected to, entangled with, the chaos in the streets. White Martian Farms expresses, embodies anti-life urges. So the white Martian is connected at some point with Darkseid, with the anti-life. Why do we do the things we do? Why did I push them away when all I wanted was to hold on till my knuckles turned white? Or was I protecting them or myself? What was I afraid of? And then we see blam, 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 blam. Bridget came from the door with a shotgun and shot them, saved John. We're a team, John. Why couldn't I just talk to my wife? John says, Tyler? Oh, he's safe, but you're hurt. You're right, Bridget. You were right. I've been hiding. So John is going to tell The truth. I don't want to hide anymore. The Martian says, yes, finally, at last. Empathetic breakthrough, partial consciousness, expansion achieved, unlocked, initiated. Martian vision is on upgrade. John, what's going on? And suddenly, it's clear as day. I see Middleton, the people of the streets at least 3/4 mad, running from their own shadows, fighting fire with loss, seeing senseless violence everywhere they turn, incomprehensible forces clashing on battlefields between their ears, as their beautiful, brightly covered lives spill out of them. And we see Tyler eats the Chacos. So everybody's in a war against themselves. Tyler on the floor because those Chacos were not supposed to be eaten. Show them, let them see each other as we see them, as they see themselves. Upgrade unlocks new ability, knowledge, perceptions. Bridget is very confused. Open your, my, their eye. The Martian's voice, or is it mine, says breathe in, and they do. They breathe in weddings and funerals, abusive boyfriends and childhood traumas. They breathe in first kisses and clinical depression. They breathe in bad dreams. They breathe in every kind of pain. They breathe in disappointment and disgrace of a dead wife looking down. All over the city, the people of Middleton get high on each other. So the Martian and John seem to be coming together. They're becoming one being, as he can't tell which voice is his. The universe flickers. White falters ever so slightly. Green surges, seeing its chance. He grabs the moon, slashes the white Martian. Something inexpressible happens. The mind tries to make sense of it through a metaphor, but words fail. Slash. And then finally, we see Tyler pick up the green Martian, stomp the white Martian. He gets up. He's fine, which is weird because he was just on the floor, but the parents don't know what happened to him. Equal parts tragedy and farce. Tyler, you're okay. Everything's okay. The sun's coming up. We made it through the night. I thought it'd never end. Bridget, I want to tell you everything. I want us to be partners. No more secrets, I swear. You want to know who I really am. And we see that the white Martian infected Tyler. So now the white Martian is Tyler, as the green Martian is John. And that's the end of this issue. I don't know when Absolute Martian Manhunter will be picked up again. I know that it's still continuing. I know that they're taking a break. So yeah, thank you for watching, listening, enjoying. Leave a comment, subscribe. Peace out.